Going on, Blue Noses, we are back with another podcast. This is episode 18, and joining me is Dan Fudge from the Wednesday week. How you doing, Dan?
Yeah, not so bad. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad. I hope you appreciate my fancy background. Looks really special. I've done this from work, so I thought I'd give you the garden lounge look for the time now.
That looks great, mate. It's nice to get you on, mate. To be honest, you seem quite funny on your podcasts and stuff as well. Like you got the real good sense of humour and stuff. So it's really good to speak to you as well, mate. But yeah, Blues and Sheffield Wednesday on Friday. How you feeling about it, mate?
Do you know what? I've no idea. I've genuinely no idea. But our last two away games, we've just got spanked 4-0. We've just lost a huge 6-pointer against Huddersfield, which I think this is the first time that some of our fans are starting to question some of the decisions from our new coach, Danny Rule. I say new; he's been there now since for about 3 or 4 months. So I don't know if he can still come under that bracket. But what he did when he came in, he gave us a bit of I want to say false dawn or false hope that that we might be able to stay up. But every time we get near, every time we get close, we seem to drop our ass. And we seem to be forever destined to be 8 points off safety. Yeah,
it's. I mean, it's frustrating, isn't it? But it just amazes me. Like, I mean, a lot of people they're in denial about it. But the Championship, mate, it's such a hard, tight league to get out of, isn't it? It is so close, and I mean, like anything can change. I mean, I think there's 17 games left now, isn't that, for everybody to play?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we're starting to run out of games a little bit now. So before, when Rule came in, we thought there's plenty of time. We've won a couple now. We'll sail out of this. We'll be all right. There's 3 shitter teams in the league than us, and then we just don't seem to. We seem to get so close. The game against yourselves. I think it was Rooney's win, wasn't it? Was it his first win?
Yeah.
We were quite aggrieved about that. Not through any, terrible refereeing decision, but the fact that we just
lost. Was lucky. That was lucky for us.
But Birmingham City, you've got a new gaffer in situ now, right?
Yeah. Tony Mowbray, superb, mate. He's for the fans. He knows his football. He's got a great CV. He's got the experience. He knows what he's talking about. Obviously, he's picking up from where Rooney left it. So he's got a bit of work to do. We've had a couple of players come in as well, but yeah, it's just a hard league, isn't it? It's just so tight. There's I think we're 12 points off from the top 6, and then we're just 4 points from the bottom 3. It's just a couple of games can change a massive, a massive scale in terms of the league, and it's just getting those results. And it's the same for you guys as well, because you're not too far behind us either, are you? I mean, 3 or 4 games, mate, and you could, be out of it. It's.
That's what I was going to say. You're only 3 games away from it all falling to shit, or you're only 3 games away from thinking, I reckon we could get playoffs here. Yeah. I reckon we could pull this off. We're going up. We're sailing up, and it seems to be. It seems to have been a good 10 years now that the Championship has been so tight for a number of years. And there was that one season where there was something only about 6 points separated 8th to relegation or something like that. That's how entertaining to be diplomatic about it. This league can be. We can all beat each other, and we do regular podcasts such as this where we talk to the other side, and we're sat here thinking, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to do. And then at the end of it, we inevitably go, oh, what about a prediction? 4-all.
Yeah. But yeah, it's it's a must-win for both of us, really, isn't it? It's going to be a cruel game either way, isn't it? Or it could be a draw.
I'd take a draw.
For friendship-wise, I want us to draw, but
I'd take a draw. I'll be all right.
Talking to you now as a friend, friendship-wise, I want us to draw, but deep down, obviously, we need a win, and obviously, deep down, you need a win as well. So it's going to be a cruel game either way if one team gets the result. But yeah, in terms of your season so far, what's the kind of feel of the fans and stuff for you guys? What's the overall view of the club, the players, the managers, how you playing and stuff? What's the kind of overall?
Well, so back in the summer, obviously, we had the the great comeback that we did against Peterborough to get promoted, and then scoring with 5 seconds left of the playoff final to get in. There's only so many miracles one team can have. There's only so many turn-ups for the Bucks one team can have. And then losing Darren Moore in the summer because they couldn't negotiate terms, at the time seemed like a massive blow, because there was a good vibe around the club. You know, people were subscribed to the Darren Moore experience. You know, watching this now, there might be some Huddersfield fans thinking, well, you dodged a bullet there. You might be worse off now, you know. And then we got in Xisco Munoz from who used to manage Watford, who got promoted out of the Championship with those guys. And that's essentially what got him the job. And then we seem to have signed a lot of average players. We needed to sign. We needed to strengthen the squad. We needed to get better. And what we ended up doing was sign a lot of average. And we weren't really better off when we came in. And, you know, I've spoken about this on Talk TV on Sunday, that the gulf between League One and the Championship is so vast now. It's so big, because the levels of fitness, the quality of football you're playing is just incredible. And average players aren't going to get you there. So after about 14 games, we got rid of Munoz, knowing that, you know, without a win, I think we got something like 3 draws, and that was it. And then Rule came in. You know, we had a couple of losses, and then it finally gelled against Rotherham, who were higher than us at the time, who then have just been an absolute free fall since, and ended up dismissing their manager. But we got that win, we got that monkey off our back, and then we've had a couple, we've had 2 or 3 drop in. You know, we had a lot of last minute wins where a lot would argue that we didn't really deserve the 3 points, and what that did was give us that glimmer where you're like, this is doable. Yeah, exactly right, exactly right. So we thought, well, this is doable, we can do this. But then rearing his head comes in is our chairman, who just who's just what we use on the show. He's just mad as a fish in petrol. He's just absolutely insane. Like, you know, since that we've had, why doesn't when we announced Munoz, he was ranting on about Carlton Palmer, and then we had, why don't the fans put in £100 each to pay off the tax bill? We've had late tax payments. We've been under soft embargoes, and then we've had all this song and dance with Duncan Maguire over the January transfer window, where we got outbid, and then he was sat in a hotel in Sheffield, and then got in a car, went to Blackburn. They scuppered the deal, but only got him in on loan, and then now they've cancelled the deal as well because Venkis have pulled out of it. It just seems, I don't know what's happening there, but in terms of terrible chairman, you know, I think us and Venkis at Blackburn are at the top of the list on that one. So there seems to be this axe of Damocles just swinging over the club constantly, you know, because our chairman's so volatile and so essentially childish. We don't know where we're going to sit or where we're going to be playing next year. And as a result, you know, in the last couple of weeks, we've announced our early bird season tickets, where everything's gone up like 18%. And we don't know what league we're going to be playing in next year. And you can't pay for that on finance. You have to pay via cheque or cash only. So there's a lot of rumours flying around that there's no underwriters for the finance option. So there's so much happening. And I think that, you know, coming out of it, the chairman was very much putting his eggs in the basket for the January transfer window, hoping that we'd spend a lot of money so we could get somebody in. But issue being is, you know, not everybody's skint in January. You're insane. What's the matter with you?
Yeah. Yeah, mate, you're right. It's I mean, when I was talking to Ash on the last podcast I've done with him, you know, chief for the shout out, by the way, because I watched that podcast when you gave me a shout out as well, so thank you, mate. But yeah, I mean, when I was talking to him as well, you know, Ash, about there was rumours about Scott Hogan going to Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, was that actually spoken about, or was it just rumours? Or
it's weird how these rumours come about, because I feel like somebody just says something on the artist formerly known as Twitter, and then everybody goes, well, I've got an opinion on this, and they all just spam it out. And we don't know if it's come from anybody at the club, whether we actually made an official inquiry, whether anything actually happened. But getting a striker in was something that we needed to do. And we got Ugbo in at the early start of January. Looks quite lively. He's still not broke his duck yet, but you know what strikers are like. They can have one bouncing off their pancreas, and you know, all of a sudden they can go on and score another 10 goals. You know, you don't know how it works. So I can't. In terms of Scott Hogan, I've no idea. But I kind of liked Scott Hogan back in the day. I thought he was all right.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if he was the caliber of player we need. But it's definitely the caliber of player that we can afford.
Yeah, there's. I mean, it's like you say, like with social media and stuff. You know, there is a lot of rumours that do fly around. You know, it does make you laugh, like some of the stuff you read. But yeah, I mean, I'm just literally now looking at the league table, mate, and you know, mate, it's so close. It is so close. Like you've only got to win. Like,
yeah, if you take off 3 points off Huddersfield and add them to ours, it would have made a tasty game this weekend. But now it's gone from 3 points we wouldn't mind on Friday to 3 points we absolutely need. And I feel like Hillsborough needs to be a fortress. It needs to be something that we need to get involved with. You know, our home form is so mega important because when we go away, we're absolutely getting spanked all over the park.
What's like? I mean, because we've got like a similar kind of situation at Blues. I mean, we've had like 10 years of crap and stuff. So, you know, it breaks my heart when I go to like some of the home games, you know, like in the stadium's not full and stuff, you know. Is it kind of the same for you guys and stuff as well? You know, are you actually selling out or are you?
It's interesting because, you know, we're quite fortunate for a city that holds two decent level teams. You know, we're quite well supported. So we're still in the early to mid 20s, even in League One, which is dead nice. But you know, I grew up supporting Sheffield Wednesday when they were Premier League and we were playing likes of Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, and all of a sudden to go after we got relegated, there was a huge drop off, and because it's going to sound mental, and you probably know it yourself, when you've got blue seats, it seems colder. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
But yeah, you know, the fans have remained loyal. But recently in the last few months, there's been a fan-led group emerge called the 1867 group that are now actively starting to protest against the chairman and the way that the club's run, which is really interesting because it seems to have polarized a lot of our fans. We seem to be quite divided on it. I think some people
exactly the same. That's the same as our club, mate. Like when we had Rooney and stuff, you know, there's a huge divide. I mean, deep down, nobody wanted him, but there was half of them that wanted to make it work, and then the other half that just didn't. So I mean, we've been there as well. It's not nice, is it? You know,
that's it. That's it. You've kind of got your colours on your sleeve, haven't you? You really want the team to succeed, right? Regardless of what's happening in the boardroom. But it's a weird one because you've got, on one hand, you've got a group of fans that are in this camp. They're on this side. Chansiri out. We don't want him here. Get him out. Get him out. And then you've got a few people that are a bit right of the middle, where they're kind of like, well, look, he's got money. He's just spending it like an idiot. So you know what I mean? Like let's hope he's surrounded himself with people that know how to spend the money that he's got. But the question is now coming in that 2 years ago, 2.5 seasons ago, we got relegated because we essentially got caught cheating the prior year, right? Because we overvalued our stadium. We paid ourselves that get-rich-quick scheme, you know, valued Hillsborough at something like 60 million quid when it was worth less than half of that. But now that's happened. Now we've had the sanctions that come with it. How are we still hemorrhaging money? So it seems that we keep putting these essentially average players on inflated contracts, and according to Chansiri, the club's losing £2 million a month. So what are you doing, pal? Why don't you get somebody in who can run the football club for you and you just sign the bloody checks? Because at the minute, this is a shit show. And it's been 8 years now of poor decisions and poor output. And the point is that the fans are getting frustrated because we're paying our money, we're doing our bit, we're paying for the overinflated shirts and the overinflated ticket prices. I mean, we're still the most expensive ticket in the league outside of Leeds United. And they're not being rewarded with anything. We're just getting rinsed and rinsed and rinsed. And we're something like, you know, Sheffield's something like 41 out of the top 42 of GDPR per person. You know, someone cleverer than me is going to tell you the exact stat. But we're not a rich area in South Yorkshire. And for people to keep getting rinsed and rinsed and rinsed, I think now a good 50% of our fan base are absolutely polarised on the chairman.
Yeah, it's... I mean, like, especially like now, you know, I mean, we've had the fuel crisis, haven't we? You know, I mean, like, at the minute we're not in a good place. So we like in terms of society, you know, we're getting rinsed from all angles. You know, there's the inflation, mortgage rates going up. You know, so people ain't got the money to spend. You know, it's kind of the same with Blues. I mean, because obviously we ain't played great like all season. You know, we've had spells like even with Rooney as well. Like hand on heart, you know, we did play well at some games. So,
with
like,
Rooney, could you see what he was trying to achieve? Because I assume he went in with his own, and here's that phrase, philosophy, and his own way of playing. Could you see what he was trying to achieve and just didn't have the right players to do it? I mean, how did you feel it was?
I just think he changed it like really quick because John Eustace, he was trying to build something, you know, from scratch, and he had like that father figure, like with the players. He was also the fans and stuff. And then we had these new owners come, Tom Wagner and Tom Brady, superb. You know, they've got the club's best interests at heart. But then Rooney's come in, wasn't really like engaging with the fans and stuff. And yeah, like he just changed things really quick. But I was one of the fans where like I love the club, you know, I'll support them like regardless. And like there's a couple of games where like we'd like have spells the way like he wanted to play for like 10 or 15 minutes, but it weren't like the thing what annoyed me with the players, it was the consistency. It wasn't consistent enough, you know, like, so we'd burn out, and I think we played against Ipswich and we'd done like 70 minutes of how we wanted to play. Like we was winning like 2-0, and then they made some changes in the 70th minute, brought on about 3 or 4 players, and then they pulled it back to 2-2. It was just gutting because, you know, that was the first game where you could see like it could actually work.
Yeah.
But like just as the games went on, like the fans were getting more and more disappointed and frustrated. And then I was on board at the start, but then as the weeks go on, there's only so much you can back and forth before the league don't lie, does it? You know, so you've got to go.
There's an interesting one, isn't there, when you get somebody like Wayne Rooney, when you get a huge name, and Tom Brady's a huge name, right? And you feel like, well, all of a sudden we're going to start getting these young kids on loan from teams like Manchester United and all these, you know, and all these high-end contacts that these people are going to have. And then when they don't materialize, you're thinking, well, what's the point? Because, you know, like it's clear it's not working on the pitch. What we need is some of the big boys, and that's what we expected to happen. And when it doesn't happen, people can turn on you a lot quicker. And with Wayne Rooney as well, there's an element of what has he really done to achieve that job? I mean, where you were something like 5th or 6th when Eustace got his marching orders, you know, there was something happening there. And I remember there was a great, I think Jim White had him on TalkSport like the day after or a couple of days after, and he was very diplomatic. You know, he carried himself very well, saying, look, we wanted to go this way and they wanted to go that one, and I can't do much about it. When really Eustace must be sat there thinking, what the fuck did I do? This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's I mean, like I knew it was coming because I was speaking to this about to my dad. We as soon as the owners come in, we was talking and rattling and saying, you know, I'm sure something's going to happen soon, because, you know, when you have new owners, they tend to bring in their own, don't they? It's just a matter of when. But when they was talking about Rooney, mate, like it weren't like a very well kept secret. Like, I mean, there was rumours about him coming like about 2 or 3 months before he even like came. So it's a matter of when he was coming, not if, you know what I mean? It was like, but just unfortunately for Eustace, we did win 2 of his last games, and then he got sacked after winning 2 games. So it was a bit like, well, hang on a minute, he just won the last 2 games. Like, how's that justified? So it's, I don't know. it's football, mate.
Championship. It's championship. What is it? Gennaro Gattuso. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. That's kind of how it works.
It's crazy, mate. What are your thoughts going in onto Friday then, Dan?
I tell you what, I'd just be happy just if we keep it tight. You know, if it's a 1-1 draw, 0-0 draw, 1-0 win, or even a 1-0 loss. You know, something where we just don't straight up embarrass ourselves. I want to see some performances from some certain players. I want Wind has to pull his finger out of his ass. I want to see a better performance from the two signings we got on transfer deadline day in Pervader and Pedersen. That's if they play. I want to see if the rumours about Marvin Johnson throwing his toys out the pram and wanting to leave because he didn't get that £1 million move to Ipswich. I want a performance from him. And I want, we made a talisman out of young Bailey Cadamartri, and his appearances over the last few games, he's been frustrated. He's not had any sort of service, and there's clearly some raw talent there. So I want to see some performances. That's what I want to see. Something to sing and dance about. Some absolute nugget of hope in what we're trying to achieve. And if let's say we lose 1-0 on Friday, I want to be able to go, he had a good game, he played shit, but I want to see something, because coming out of Huddersfield the other day, it was just abject. It was a tight 0-0 game, and then we had 12 minutes of madness and decided to shoot ourselves in the foot, and we conceded 4 goals in 12 bloody minutes.
That's mad, isn't it?
Against Huddersfield Town.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mate, it's crazy. I mean, like, you're the same as me, like, in a way, Dan, because I've always said, I can take losing, even if we got like thrashed, as long as that you can see that the players have played for the shirt, the heart's on the sleeve, and they've just tried the best. It's just when they're down tools. I weren't sure if they're down tools, like on the back end of Rooney's last couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
I weren't sure if there was something going on there. So it was like the players not wanting to play for him deep down, that kind of stuff. So could see why they're doing it, but obviously, like you say, mate, you're paying your money in stuff. You want the players to perform on the pitch, you don't want to get involved with all the stuff going on behind the scenes. So for me, win or lose, as long as the players are playing for the shirt and they're trying, then that's the main thing, isn't it?
It's all you want. It's all you need. Just to see somebody, cut them in half and they bleed blue and white. That's all I want to see. That's all I genuinely want to see. I want to see those people chase after lost causes, try and stick a toe in here, get the meaty challenges in, instead of just throwing their arms up in the air like Ryan Lowe in the last 2 furlongs, when every time I seem to have a bet on him.
That's it, mate. But yeah, I mean, on the plus side for you as well, Sheffield United got stuffed as well, didn't they? By
I tell you what,
rivals.
But it's one of the things, because they're in the Premier League and they're just as shit. You're like, it really takes the fun out of laughing at them, because they're still 1 league higher. You know what I mean? It's like you lot going, Villa got beat, but here we are at the bottom end of the Championship. It don't really have the same clout. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's hope we'll be in the same league next year. So when they get tonked, we can absolutely laugh about it, because it's been a number of years. They've been good for like 20 years now, and I'm getting a bit frustrated with it, if I'm honest. Yeah.
It's the same with Villa, mate. I'll get frustrated, but it's an awkward one, because I'd like to see all the Midlands teams playing the same league. You got Wolverhampton Wanderers, West Bromwich Albion, Blues, Villa. I'd love to get the clubs in the same league, but I
agree entirely. If both Sheffield clubs are doing well, I would be very much, and even Rotherham getting up there, Barnsley, lesser extent, Huddersfield and Leeds at different ends of Yorkshire. I'd be happy to see them up there. I'd like the area to be a force. You know what I mean? Because you look at Manchester and the Northwest, and they seem to have been great for years. And you're like, there's a culture around there. People are into their football. They're enjoying it. And given the way that the 2 Sheffield clubs are being run right now, it's just a sad indictment of that they'll let anybody buy a football club, regardless, because they've got a decent gate receipt, as it were.
It's just mad, isn't it, mate? And even I can't remember who I was talking to now. I think it was somebody at work. It might be somebody off a podcast. But either way, I was talking to someone, and they were saying they're on about trialing the VAR in the Championship. I mean, how do you feel about that, Dan, if that was brought into play? I think it spoils the game, personally. Do you? Or
my issue with VAR isn't VAR itself; it's the way we use it. I'm gonna geek on you now for about 2 minutes. Bear with me. So,
it's all right.
In Holland, they use it in a different way. They have an area of error. So, for example, when you see them drawing the lines and they blur together, they don't call that offside. They just, they use their common sense, because when someone's running, it changes, right? So they don't microscope every single decision. They just check the goals. The referee phones it in if it needs checking, something like that. And then we keep changing the offside rule. We keep changing the handball rule. And it's getting really frustrating because, the rules are changing, and they're changing mid-season as well, which I don't think is helping anybody. I want to see the referee making more decisions. I want to see more run-ins over to the TV screen when it's not already a foregone conclusion. I want him to go, hang on, lads, I fancy looking at that again, and running over and talking about it, as opposed to somebody going, listen, pal, I think you better go and take a look at that again, because because we know then that the decision is going to get changed, because it just makes that running over to the screen pantomime. Essentially, it just makes it a show, and it's just wasting time, and it's taking the fun out of the game. I'm all for the right decisions getting made, but I want to make sure we're using it in the right way. And I think what we've done is that we have changed it in such a way that we don't recognise the game anymore, and that's where we're falling apart.
Yeah, I think the same as well, mate. I mean, I'm all for it, like you say, but I'm just glad I'm not in the Premiership at the minute, because look, it hasn't been there that long, has it really? But I was talking to a couple of Wolves fans at work, and they were saying, you don't know whether to celebrate, and that sometimes even when you score, because you have to wait for them to make a decision and stuff to see whether it's a goal or not. So you can't. I mean, how do you celebrate when you've just seen the ball go?
Someone's banging on my door. My apologies. I'm just going to walk away for 2 seconds.
That's all right, mate.
Had an incident at the weekend that I needed to think. So we were talking then about VAR not being able to celebrate, weren't we?
Yeah, because I was talking to some of the Wolves fans at work, and they were saying, when you've actually seen a goal being scored, like, your natural reaction is to celebrate, isn't it? Like jump up in the mad. But it's like when you're waiting for them to make a decision because it looks like it's not a goal. Like they were saying, it's difficult to then celebrate when the goal's given it.
Yeah. All of a sudden,
you don't celebrate like internally. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we got a goal, but then you're not naturally enjoying the goal, are you? It's like not pantomime in a way, isn't it? Like you're acting to celebrate them because it doesn't feel the same. It's like, I don't know. I hope they don't bring it into the Championship, because I'm enjoying it like as it is, because it seems different to the Premier League. It seems like to me like a proper game of football, But then I can see why they're doing it.
It seems less sterile. I feel like that's what Premier League football's become. It's become sterile. And I feel like, I had more fun watching some of the football in League One, actually, as well, last season and the season before, because you see people beat a player. You see people slap one from 30 yards. You think, sod it. People are scoring crappy shit goals in a goalmouth scramble, stuff like that. And what we get in the Premier League now is very sterile, formulaic football. Who's the fastest? Who's the quickest? And it's all about physicality. My stepbrother was one of the main coaches at Liverpool for the last 10 years, and he's just gone to go. He's gone to go and work with Steven Gerrard at El Ettifaq, which financially is absolutely dancing. For career process, I'll question that, but I'll see what he says when he comes home. But he was saying that, like, your ability to play football is now 8th in the tier of what they look for in a footballer. A lot of it is size, height, speed, physicality, and all these traits that people have. And I feel like as a result, football is it's not as fun anymore. One of the best Twitter accounts on X is crap 90s football, where you just see these mad goalmouth scrambles and these shitty pitches and people slap one from 30 yards and that's the football I grew up with. But the Premier League doesn't have it, and VAR seems to have contributed to that somewhat. And that's I don't want that. I want to see some shit goals, and I want to see some absolute David Hurst scorchers from 25 yards out for no reason.
Yeah, mate, I feel it's. I just hope it don't come into play, because at the minute I'm enjoying it. And as well, even when the ref makes a bad decision, it gives the fans, something to talk about. Well, I think it's this, or they say, well, I thought it was this. With the VAR, it kind of takes it away, doesn't it? Just talking about the game we love. It's.
It's not
the
game anymore.
But Dan, good luck for Friday, mate. Yeah, let's have a brave score prediction off you, mate. Come on.
I honestly 1-0 Wednesday. That's all I want. Just 1-0. That's all it is. 3 points. Just move on and let's worry about playing. Because we've got some winnable fixtures coming up, and I just want to see if we can chalk up 9 points out the next 5 games or something. If that happens, we've given it a go, right? And we might be out of relegation. Yeah,
mate, that's it, mate. Yeah. So I mean, mate, I'm looking at the league table now. Like I said earlier, 2 or 3 games, mate, you're out of it. It's that tight, It's really close. Dan, I'm gonna have to be cruel. I'm gonna say 3-1 Blues. But
might be fun.
Ron, love you, mate. Okay. Ideally, in a nice way, like it would be good for us to get a draw for your sake, or even a win as well. But Dan, yeah, I love you, mate. We'll have to get you on again. With a couple of Blues fans as well, like after the game or something, if you're free on the weekend or something, and we'll have like a bit of a group thing. 2 Blue Noses and 2 Sheffield Wednesday fans. I think that'll be quite good.
All right.
Yeah, let me know, Dan.
All right.
All right, mate.
See you later.
All the best, mate. Good luck as well.
Cheers, boss.
See you later, Dan.
See you later, pal.
It's all right, mate.